Howdy everyone, your pal here with some more Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness. Last episode, we snagged the last Shadow Pokemon in the game, Dragonite, from Mirror B. Anyways, we're gonna take on Mount Battle today just because we're gonna need some training. We're gonna need to do some training if we want to accept Egan's invitation to the Ore Coliseum, because we're not at a good enough level to actually take on that place. And Mount Battle is the perfect place to do some training. And obviously this is going to be post-commentary. I actually, I did record the last battle of Mount Battle in live commentary, but apparently the commentary never saved, so that's also going to be in this post-commentary track as well, so that's going to be fun. But Mount Battle, it's a straight shot of 100 battles. Of course, you do have the option to just skip ahead to other areas if you've been to them. Like, for example, by default, when you go to Mount Battle, you have the option of going from either Area 1, 2, or 3. And each area has 10 zones, so there's 10 areas with 10 zones, so that's 100 battles. And it gets progressively harder, of course, but if you want the best reward that you can get from Mount Battle, you're going to have to start from Zone 1 all the way to Zone 100 and just make your way through. Also, you have to do it without changing your team one bit, because after you clear an area, you have access to a rest area where you can change your party if you want, but if you want the best reward, like I said before, then don't change your team up. You could change items, of course, by going to the PC and whatever, but Also, at the end of each area, you're going to be fighting an area leader. In Area 1's case, it's Vander, that guy that we saw at the beginning of the game. And of course, they're the quote-unquote strongest trainers of their area, but the first 3 areas really aren't that difficult. They're meant to be like a warm-up, but things will get progressively harder, and there are areas where like the level gap will drastically change. Like, for example, I think Area 3 is an example of one where it goes from, like, the first 2 areas are, like, the mid-teens, and then, like, Area 3, I think, like, jumps to, like, the high 20s. So there are level gaps like that, especially later on where they get brutal. Also, your first time clearing an area in these rest areas, you will get a little reward. You get the Macho Brace here, and then later on you'll get TMs. So yeah. And some fun facts about Mount Battle. After each battle, your team will get healed up, so you don't need to worry about that. You really only need to worry about using items later on in the tougher battles, but like between battles, you don't need to worry about healing or anything. So that makes things a whole lot easier, because if you have to worry about healing your team up with like items between each battle, chances are you're gonna have a difficult time completing Mount Battle all the way through. And I'm so glad that I went with this route here to just skip every battle, but at least show the fact that I did climb up Mount Battle, because if I were to show every battle, even fast forwarding through all of them, they would take forever. So yeah. And my team, they did get a lot of experience here, and I'm not going to go over this just yet, but they did learn a few handy moves that would make things easier. And also, since I'm not showing the majority of these battles, like, you don't get to see Libby in action, because I did use her a lot, and even in the battles that I do show against the area leaders, I did try to make a conscious effort to show Libby, because she did just evolve in the last episode. But even then, like, here, we're not seeing Libby just yet, but we will. Don't worry about that. And that area leader has a mudkip, which I want. But yeah, Mount Battle, it's a brutal place, and honestly, I think it's just tedious. Now, I've gone through Mount Battle many times in my life while playing through Pokemon XD, so I think in total I've gone through it, like, let's see, first playthrough, second playthrough, third playthrough, 11 times, I think. I've played through XD. I think this is my 5th playthrough of the game. So I've gone through it multiple times because I don't know. As tedious as it is, like when I was younger, of course I had more free time to do that, and I really didn't mind. But nowadays, like, I'm only showing it here just for completion's sake, just to show the reward at the end, really, and because it is good training for the Ori Coliseum. And even then, like, spoilers, even after completing Mount Battle, I still need to do some more training. But oh well. Oh well. And also here in Area 3, this is the last of the first 3 areas that we can actually go through. From Area 4 on, like, as you complete each of those areas, you will be able to just start from those areas at the lobby of Mount Battle anytime after. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Like, if you wanted to just go back to just one particular area to train up in, then you could do that. And even in the main story, this is still an excellent place to train. It's just I didn't think I would need it, and I didn't, but I could have at any time I wanted to. But showing it all at once here, I felt was my best option. And also, whenever you beat an area leader, since we're fighting one right now, whenever you beat an area leader, you do get Poke Coupons, and you get more Poke Coupons in the higher areas. But whenever you go through Mount Battle, if you have a legendary Pokemon in your team, you actually get a reduced amount of Poke Coupons. You get 85% of however much they would normally give you. Like, for example, this one here gives us 600. So 85% of 600. I can't do math right now, but for example, if I think an area leader later on would give you like 1,000 Poke Coupons, so 85% of that's 850. But if you were to use another legendary Pokemon in your team, it would be 85% of that 85%, so it'd be like 70 something percent, and so on. Like, for every legendary you have in your party, the amount of Poke Coupons you get is reduced, so keep that in mind. Anyways, Area 4, we start to see a little scenery change, which I think is pretty neat. You get to see, like, your progress through Mount Battle. Like, the first 3 areas, you're, like, in a crevice between, like, a mountain or whatever. But then, Area 4, I believe it's, like, Area 4 through Area 6, you're inside the mountain, so you get to see, like, the magma or lava or whatever. I just think it's, like, a neat little bit of, like, showing progression here. Also, that trainer there, in Zone 35, she had a Cacnea and a Trimeco, and it's like, oh, I think someone else uses that. I think that's just a neat little reference to James from the Pokemon anime at the time, because he did have a Cacnea and Trimeco. Don't like Trimeco, but whatever. But yeah, it's again, there's neat little Easter eggs like that. And I think, yeah, Area 4 is when we start to see things in, like, the early 30s or early 40s. I don't remember. But again, it's neat experience. So yeah, and we do get to see a nice wide variety of Pokemon. Okay, late 20s here. So it's the next area where it jumps like the 40s or something. But we do get to see, like, a nice variety of Pokemon, especially in the later areas where you get to see some trainers just throw out legendary Pokemon, like, just willy-nilly. I think Area 7 is the first where you get to see a trainer do that, where, like, a trainer will just randomly send out an Articuno or something. I don't remember, but it just shows that the later areas, I will stress this, they will get incredibly difficult, especially if you're going in at the levels I was going in at the start of Mount Battle, which was, what, mid-40s? So, yeah. Mount Battle was it was a tedious experience, especially just, it's 100 battles, which I guess this was in the era where that was a popular thing to do in Nintendo games, where you do like 100 battles or trials or whatever, because in like Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, you had the Pit of 100 Trials, then Super Paper Mario as well. That was a thing, right? The Pit of 100 Trials, I think. Then you had the Cave of Ordeals and the Savage Labyrinth in Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, respectively, in the Legend of Zelda series. So that was, for some reason, like, in the Wii and GameCube era, or GameCube and Wii era if we're going chronologically, a battle dungeon of like 100 battles or whatever, or 50 battles, was for some reason the norm in Nintendo games. I don't know why, but that's not really a thing that we see too often nowadays. And Area 50, or Area 5, or the end of Area 5, so this is like the halfway point, which not really the case in this video if you're looking at the timestamp, because spoilers, the final battle takes up like half of this video. But as you can see, I'm like struggling to come up with things to talk about, but oh, one neat thing I discovered, I think this was in my third playthrough of XD, it's about how experience works in this game. So when I was playing through XD, during my third playthrough, I went through Mount Battle, and I was curious, because I wanted to see how much experience a Pokemon could get upon purification. So I put a Pokemon in my party, and I gave it the experience share, so it was guaranteed to get a good majority of the experience in a battle. Even if it were to faint, it's still like it wouldn't get that experience in like the later battles, but I wanted to see like how much experience a Pokemon would get. So I went up through Mount Battle from Zone 1 all the way to Zone 100, and then I saved the game. Then I purified it. That Pokemon went from level 50. This will narrow down what Pokemon I use, but it went from level 50, I believe, to the early 80s. My memory's a bit foggy on this because this was years ago. And because I saved, I was like, okay, well, I'll just reset before purification. And then I went through Mount Battle a second time. Then the Pokemon, after purifying it, then, after having accumulated experience from both trips to Mount Battle, it went from level 50 to the mid-90s. So it's like, okay, I can get it to level 100 after a third trip to Mount Battle. So I went through Mount Battle a third time, and also going through Mount Battle a third time is kind of relevant, but I'll talk about that later on. But, so after the third time, I purified the Pokemon. It only got enough experience to get up to the mid-60s. So this confused me, and then after thinking about it and I realized that the experience overflowed. So the Pokemon I got, or the Pokemon I purified, whenever a Pokemon reaches level 100, it's because it reaches like how much experience it needs to get to that level. Which, like, I think in total a Pokemon needs like over 1 million experience points or something. It depends on the Pokemon as well, because every Pokemon will have like a different experience curve and experience yield and whatever. But I realized that if a Pokemon were, in XD at least, if a Pokemon were to exceed that amount of experience all at once, then it would just overflow and reset. So the Pokemon got like 1 million and something experience, but because it overflowed, that million wasn't accounted for, and however much was left after, that's how much it gained, and it was only able to level up to the mid-60s instead of reaching all the way up to level 100. That was an interesting thing for me to figure out when I did that. And I learned how experience works. If a Pokemon were to just receive a ton of experience at once, there's a chance it could just overflow and just not receive as much experience as it should. Anyways, I was rambling on about that. I didn't even realize, like, here we made it to, like, the outer part of Mount Battle. So before, we were in a crevice or something, at least judging from the surroundings, to inside the mountain, and now we go around. I think it's around the mountain. I think, like, as you gradually get up to the top. But yeah, we're getting closer, and you can even see, like, a bit of the, like, the wall of the mountain, like, down there in, like, the bottom left of the screen. So that's neat. But yay, experience is what we're getting here. Gosh, how much longer? How much longer is this video? Oh gosh, we're like we're like a third of the way through, or 2/3 of the way through, and then we have the final battle to show. Like I said before, the final battle takes up a long amount of time. Takes up like half the video, and I'm sad that for some reason the commentary for that didn't save, so I have to do the final battle of Mount Battle in post as well, because there were some exciting moments in that battle, but I still show it off, so that's what matters, and I'm not doing it again. I'm not gonna be touching Mount Battle for a long time. Like, I don't know when the next time I plan on playing through Pokemon XD is, like, whenever I have the free time for, but I'm not gonna be doing Mount Battle for a while, just because it's a tedious thing. And this area leader, I remember giving me a little bit of trouble, because look at this! Is that early 60s? Yeah, early 60s, that's insane. And I definitely burned through a good majority of the items I brought in. And I remember when I was doing the final battle, like, I was actually, like, voicing my concerns that I wouldn't have enough items to last through, because I used up a lot of items in Mount Battle, especially, like, in the later areas where battles got really, really tough. No, 1,500 Poké Coupons, nice. And also the rewards that you can redeem your Poké Coupons for in the lobby of Mount Battle are pretty handy, because I didn't show this in the video itself, but you can get things like Flamethrower, Ice Beam, or Thunderbolt, just to name a few. You can get some berries that will raise your stats up in a pinch, like the Apricot Berry or the Ganlin Berry. I think the Ganlin Berry increases special defense or special attack, I don't remember. The Salac Berry I know increases speed. Like, you can get those, although those are really expensive. Like, I think those cost like 15,000 Poké Coupons. So, yeah. And you can also get some pretty nice held items as well, like Scope Lens. I think you can even get, like, maybe some leftovers, although you can already get 2 in this game. Maybe a Choice Band. The other choice items weren't introduced until the 4th generation, so you can't get those. But yeah, you can get some pretty nice things here at the lobby of Mount Battle with your Poké Coupons. Also, kind of worrying that Mount Battle is built on what seems to be an active volcano, because there's lava flowing down. Like, you're inside it at one point, and the battle takes place on the summit. Kind of a dangerous thing. I mean, it's a cool backdrop and everything for a series of battles, but if the place were to erupt, that would be a problem. And also, these floating platforms, pretty dangerous as well, because if there's like a power outage or something, or like if one of the things breaks, then I would assume like the rest of the places would fall, since they're all connected together. Like, even though they're connected by like just these tiny bridges, I'd still think like one falling would be enough to like take all of these areas and zones down. And that's a worrying thought as well. Like, how are these people not like worried about that? I don't know. I would be. Yeah, we get to see Libby in action here. Libby is a good team member. And now we're starting to see some fully evolved Pokemon as well, like Salamence and Blaziken. And like I said, you will start to see legendary Pokemon around this area here. I think Zone 75, I think that's the first one where you see someone use a legendary Pokemon. Which, of course, I didn't show, but don't worry. We'll see some. We'll see some. And actually, since I skip out a good portion of the battles here in Mount Battle, you get some of the legendary Pokemon you get to see, which I don't show. You get to see Raikou, Entei, and Suicune, the 3 legendary beasts from Generation 2. A trainer uses Articuno here. I think one of the area leaders uses one of the legendary golems. I think in Area 9. I mean, this is the area leader for Area 8, so I think the one in Area 9 will use a legendary Pokemon. And then in the 99th battle, the trainer there uses will use the 3 legendary golems, Regirock, Regice, and Registeel. And also that was an annoying battle too, because most of her Pokemon had Explosion. Most of them, not all of them. And Explosion is a powerful move in this generation because Self-Destruct and Explosion, although it doesn't say it, up until Generation 4, or Generation 5 is when they stopped doing it, but like from Generations 1 to 4, Self-Destruct and Explosion will actually have the defense of everyone getting hit by it, so they'll deal double damage. Not fun. Not fun to deal with. Luckily, they don't do that anymore in Generation 5 onwards, but if they did, they'd still be really powerful moves. I mean, they are still powerful in their own regard, but not powerful enough to justify knocking yourself out. But back then, when they did have their target's defenses, then yeah, they were worth the self knockout. So yeah, dang, I rambled about that, and we're still like 15 battles away from the end. So, yep. Also, I found a lot of these NPCs' dialogue to be amusing. Like, one of them's like, I like rain. Or this one, don't cry when I beat you. I'm not crying. It's interesting. But yeah, we're almost done with this, and I do think the Area 9 leader has... I want to say it's Regirock. I want to say that, but I'm not too sure. I don't know. But I guess I'll find out. Also, I like how this Mount Battle is like the one place where you can fight like super trainers. Yeah, Regirock. Yeah, like super trainers, and like the area leaders use the same model as like the sim trainer that you fought at the beginning of the game. And those are also the same models as super trainers, or the male super trainers at least. I think XD is the only game where super trainers are a trainer class. I think. I don't know. But, eh. Also, fun fact, the battles I show of areas, against the area leaders of Area 6 through Area 9, those battles are sped up just a little bit faster than the ones against the first 5 area leaders. Fun fact. Not really something someone would notice, but those battles were taking longer, so I had to speed those up just a little bit faster. They're sped up like 5 times faster than normal battles, while the battles against the first 5 area leaders are sped up 4 times, I think. I want to say that's the case. But, yeah. And I'm still, like, waiting for us to get to, the 100th battle, because then I can actually, like, talk about more things instead of it just, like, struggling to find out subjects to talk about. Because I already exhausted all of my Mount Battle subjects. Like, I talked about how fast, or how Mount Battle works, the Poke Coupons you can get, the TMs that you can get, although I didn't actually talk about which TMs you get. One of them is Calm Mind, which is a pretty nice TM, but I don't even remember at this point. And then I talked about the experience and how it overflows and resets and whatever. And I'm not even going to talk about the rewards until after we're done with Mount Battle. But whatever. I can ramble on for like walking through these last 9 zones, right? Oh yeah, this battle was a jerk. Just saying that right there. That battle, yeah, battle 91. Same with this one. I did not enjoy some of these last few battles. Oh, this trainer here in battle 93, she's the one that uses the 3 legendary beasts. And also an Espeon and an Umbreon. A reference, I would say, to a previous adventure. This one uses the 3 Johto and the 3 Hoenn starter final evolutions. See, these battles are at least fresh in my mind. Also, this one is a jerk as well. Yeah, these battles are fresh in my mind. And also, obviously, like, I cut out, like, going into the menu to swap out party members just to make things easier to watch. Because that was all stuff I could easily cut out. But yeah, Battle 97. We're almost there. Then onwards to Battle 98, which I don't think gave me too much trouble. Battle 99 that was an annoying one. So, yeah. And, yay, we're here. We're here. We're at the summit now. Exciting. So, the summit of Mount Battle, it's right up the top of these stairs. It's a long flight of stairs, I guess. But they do need to transition over to the next part of the map. And this is what my team is like going in. Gotta have them all in their proper order, but Eugene here learned Psychic. So that's really good. Ellen didn't really change. Terry got Poison Fang. So finally a nice Poison Stab move. Libby didn't change. Johnny didn't change either. And Nina almost learned Extreme Speed, but I decided to just keep Double Edge. But that's what my team is like going in. Their levels are, of course, higher than they were when we went in. And they're all at just differing levels from early to mid-50s. But I think, well, this is post-commentary, but obviously, like, with what I have, I think it should be usable enough. And this is what I'm going in with. Johnny and Ellen. Because Fake Out was a godsend throughout the later parts of Mount Battle. And it's going to be helpful here. Because it's going to get me a free paralysis. Anyways, the summit of Mount Battle. No items here for us to grab or anything. And don't worry, there's nothing on the opposite side either. Just this battlefield here. And this is our opponent. Very good of you to come. I'm Battlist, the master of Mount Battle. Let me test your abilities in the Mount Battle Coliseum. Who will win, you or I? Spoilers, I win. But yeah. Our final battle here in Mount Battle. This is... Even just watching back on this footage, I can remember just the anxiety this battle gave me. But here's Mount Battle Master, Battlist. And his team, he's always going to send out different Pokemon, but in this instance, he's going to start things off with Slacking, level 70, with the ability Truant, so it only attacks every other turn, which is to compensate for how powerful Slacking hits, and just how good its stats are in general. And it has the moves Earthquake, Hyper Beam, and Shadow Ball. All really powerful moves, and Hyper Beam even, like, that's its best move, and it's... The recharge turn doesn't even matter, because the recharge will take place on its Truant turn. And then Latios here, level 70 as well, with the ability Levitate, so can't get hit with ground type moves, with the moves Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Dragon Claw, and Psychic. Excellent special type moves for it to have. Gives it a nice variety of type coverage. So, these are all really powerful Pokemon, especially with how high of a level they are compared to you. Unless you decide to, like, just go back and train before this. Like, just leave Mount Battle and train before. But if you're just going at this, like, at a straight shot, like I did, you're most likely... Voice crack. You're most likely gonna be at the levels I'm at. And these battles are gonna be tough. Or this battle. It's gonna be very tough. This is by far the strongest trainer in the game. So, you want to be prepared. So my strategy here is to use Fake Out, and then use Thunder Wave on Slacking, and then focus on the Latios here, because I want to have that paralyzed as well. But yeah, his Pokemon have very powerful moves, so you want to watch out for that. Johnny served his purpose for now, but I do have revives to revive him because I will be relying on that Fake Out. Nina here, the strategy is to lower Slacking's attack stat as much as possible. So, Intimidate is there to do just that, and Thunder Wave will give me just enough speed, or it's going to lower Slacking's speed just enough for me to get a Charm in on that. And then I can also get Thunder Wave in on Latios. This guy, his team, I will say, it is pretty stacked. He has very powerful Pokemon. Even Slacking, it's a powerful Pokemon. Just because it's level 70 and it has really powerful moves, so you want to make sure you're prepared. And when I was going into this battle, I was worried that my team's levels weren't... Well, I wasn't worried about that. I was actually worried about how little I had in terms of items, because I used a lot of items going up to this battle. But yeah, now light screen was a thing, and also there were some times where I did get lucky with paralyzing things or paralysis taking effect. That was something I was worried about. Also, Battleless, he likes to use Earthquake a lot. And he has things that will avoid Earthquake. So, that he likes to do that. Pair something up with one of his Earthquake uses with, like, Levitate or something, like Latios. And really, at this point, I'm just using my best moves on Latios here. Just because I want to get rid of that thing first. Like, at this point in the battle, Slacking was essentially, like, not a threat. Because it's paralyzed, its attack stat was lowered essentially 3 times, because its Charm is lowering it by 2 levels. So, yeah. And my reasoning here with using Bite was, oh, it's paralyzed. Maybe I can get some flinching in. And then also, I needed to dedicate some time into healing. And Bite did more than I thought it would. At least Latios isn't holding a Soldew. That would have made this battle very, very difficult to go through. It would have made Latios hit like a truck. Okay, well, with that done, let's send out Terry here. Because Terry has access to Confuse Ray. And also, Shadow Ball is a move. And Hyper Beam. Oh, I remember this moment here. A critical Hyper Beam at the worst possible time. That one screwed me over, I will admit. But, again, the fact that Slacking had a turn to just dedicate to not doing anything, that was a godsend in this battle. So, let's just knock these 2 fellas out. Well, not those. I keep Slacking alive because, again, it's not much of a threat at this point in the battle. But on to the next Pokemon here. Latios, level 70, with the moves Calm Mind, Dragon Claw, Psychic, and Waterfall. again, pretty nice type coverage. And Calm Mind makes this thing very, very threatening. So my reasoning here was to knock out Latios and then use this free attack to paralyze Latios, which luckily I did. At the time I was worried that I wouldn't, because that would have made things a lot more annoying to go through. But yeah, Latios was... It's a very, very big threat because it has access to Calm Mind. So that was basically a top priority for me to take down. And the whole Parafusion thing helps a lot in this battle. I will say, Light Screen going off there was not at the best time for me, but oh well. You make do with what you can do, right? And Shadow Ball, I don't think that knocks out Latios. Yeah, Latios is the more bulky out of it and Latios. I mean, it can still hit really hard, especially once it has a Calm Mind in, but Latios is a powerful Pokemon. And Latios here knocks itself out in Confusion. So that's 2 down. That's 2 legendaries as well. And next up here is Dusclops, level 70 with the ability Pressure, so moves you use on it will take 2 PP instead of 1, which is really good for Dusclops because it is actually fairly bulky, and it has the moves Imprison, Shadow Ball, Ice Beam, and Protect. In my case, Imprison would be a bad move for it to use because I have Shadow Ball, but also, like, it just takes hits really well, and it has access to Protect, so its purpose of PP stalling, it does really well. It doesn't do good offensively, but oh well. I'd probably say Dusclops is the weakest link of Battleiss's party, but it's still a Pokemon you shouldn't take too lightly. And lowering this thing's attack stat even more. And Dusclops as well. But, yeah. I confused the Dusclops here. And then Shadow Ball being imprisoned kind of screws me over because then I can't just hit Dusclops with a super effective Shadow Ball. That would have helped a lot, but nope. Nope. And taking a Hyper Beam to the face, if it wasn't for those charms and those Intimidates, I definitely would not be able to do that. Oh well. And then my reasoning here on using Poison Fang, even though it's not very effective, is to poison the Dusclops. Inflict Badly Poison as well, because that's what Poison Fang does. But that doesn't quite happen. And then Burn, or Flamethrower was to maybe get a Burn in while dealing some damage. I mean, Burn would have also been nice because it would lower the damage that Dusclops would do with Shadow Ball, because it's a physical attack. But, eh. And now, spending this turn to revive Johnny. Right? What is Pass Me doing? No, Pass Me isn't doing that. Okay, Pass Me is just charming, the slacking. And then reviving, yeah, reviving Johnny. Because I cannot stress this enough, Johnny's Fake Out was really, really helpful. Like, in the climb up Mount Battle. Same with Nina's Charm. I'm so glad I kept Nina's Charm all the way throughout this entire journey since getting her. Because it has saved me more than I can count in Mount Battle. See, we lived through a Hyper Beam because of those attack drops. With half health. From a level 70 slacking. That wouldn't have happened without Nina's attack lowering abilities. Or ability and move. So, yeah. And Ice Beam, that's a threatening move, but since Dusclops isn't really physically oriented, or not physically, but offensively oriented, Ice Beam didn't do much. Now this is, I think, is this where it happens? Yes! Yeah, this switch threw me off guard. Switching over to Salamence, level 70, with the ability Intimidate to lower our attack. with the moves Aerial Ace, Body Slam, Fire Blast, and Earthquake. Salamence here is a very powerful Pokemon. And it has some pretty powerful moves. Even Fire Blast. Like, that will hit really hard. So, sending out that Salamence at this time was not something I was personally expecting. Because that was rough. Salamence is very powerful here. I mean, it doesn't have... Like, Aerial Ace isn't the best, like, move for it. But it's still a strong move. Especially since this thing does have that level advantage over us. And then Body Slam and Earthquake hurt as well. And Intimidate was also threatening. Oh, goodbye Terry. And then here. This is where I go for the good old Fake Out strategy. I was kind of deliberating here on like whether I should send out Nina for the Intimidate, but Fake Out, just making it so your opponent can't attack in a double battle, or one of your opponents, that gives you a ton of options to work with. So, my strategy here was to paralyze the Salamence with Dragon Breath. Because, like, I wouldn't have stood a chance against the Salamence, like, most likely, if I didn't. But yeah, this was a long battle. But it is a challenging battle. And it's one that I actually really enjoyed. As tedious as Mount Battle was, like, this final battle was, like, just the right amount of difficulty for me to fully enjoy. Like, it's not too difficult. It's one that I can win within, within the limits of what I have. But I had to work for this. So, Nina here, Intimidate. Again, gonna be helpful. Because I need to lower how much damage that Salamence can do. And here, this is where Rock Tomb's not... I remember using Rock Tomb a little bit, but like its accuracy, there's one instance where it missed, and it's like, oh, dang, that's unfortunate, but I make do. Okay, so Dusclops is hitting itself, so I have that free turn. And Body Slam, okay. Also, random fun fact, but in my notes for this, like whenever I would like type out the moves that a boss would have, like for going over, whenever I would type up Body Slam, for some reason I would always put an E at the end of Slam, so it would read out as Slame. But that's just me being a goof with my notes. Like that was just like an accidental thing. But now Salamence here. It's paralyzed and its HP is low, so can't do much. That's not much of a threat anymore at this point either. See, that Body Slam did nothing. And now, what do I do now? I revive something, because I need to. I need to... Like, having a full team here, while a good portion of his team is basically not doing well. I mean, 2 of his Pokemon are knocked out, one of them is almost knocked out, and 2 of them are paralyzed. And one of them that's paralyzed is almost knocked out. Yeah. Like, having my team, like, be fully... Not fully, but at least all conscious and not knocked out, like, gives me options to work with. And now, this is where I send out Terry, because... Yeah. Terry is good. I like how I get to use a lot of my team members throughout this fight. Like, they all have some kind of purpose. I mean, spoilers, Eugene didn't do the most in this fight, but that's fine, because I used Eugene a lot throughout this Let's Play, and I get to give my other team members more of a chance to shine. It's nice, like, giving all of them, like, some time in the spotlight throughout this Let's Play, especially in this final battle. Like, we get to see Johnny's fake out, like, do a lot, and we get to see Thunderwave be very useful, just paralysis in general. Terry gets to confuse things. It's very, very good. Then back to slacking here. And also, I'm just gonna say this, paralysis is my favorite status condition, just because it's so useful. Lowers speed, gives the opponent a 50% chance of attacking. I get screwed over by hacks there, by being frozen. But, like, and paralysis, it doesn't wear off unless you use an item. It's a handy one. It's a very, very handy status condition. And it's one that I always make sure to have someone be able to inflict whenever I play through a Pokemon game. At least nowadays. And if not, then that just annoys me. Now, Terry lived through that, surprisingly enough. And Hyper Beam missed. And at this point, like, slacking just, like, came in, so its attack stat, I don't think it was lowered. So, yeah. That missing was a godsend. And also, like I said before, like, the free turn from Truant made this so much easier. Okay, slacking is now paralyzed. And Ice Beam. Could have targeted Terry for that. But whatever. So my strategy here was to just, I don't know, use Air Cutter, maybe knock out the Dusclops. Maybe. Is that what I do? No, I don't. I just revive something. I remember at some point I tried to use Air Cutter to knock out Dusclops. But probably not here. I don't know. And at this point, he still only has 2 of his Pokemon knocked out, so yeah. Oh, this is when I start to use Air Cutter, because my thought process was like, oh, both of his Pokemon are almost knocked out. If I can knock out both of them at once, that'd be very helpful. But then Slacking just goes and knocks stuff out anyways. And then we see... Well, first off, Terry goes to level 55, so that's nice. But we get to see Salamence again. So, yay. Yay for that. Yeah, this is where I try to use Air Cutter. Because look at that. Can you blame me for, like, not thinking that, like, I would be able to knock out both of them with Air Cutter? I mean, I did have that attack drop, so... Eh. Oh well. Oh, I think this is where Rock Tomb misses. Right? Do I try that? Yeah, I try it. And this would have been like a really good time for Air Cutter to get critical, because then that would have just bypassed the Intimidate. But nope. That didn't happen. Yeah, it would have been nice if I could have knocked out that Dusclops there, but nope. And we're just barely living on with like the skin of our teeth, because that's like 10 HP left. Okay, Johnny did good there. Heh. Johnny do good. Or did good. You know, because that song, Johnny Be Good. Which is a really good song, by the way. Anyways. Yeah, my strategy here was to knock out something and then paralyze it. Like, if... I would use Air Cutter here, and if it didn't knock out the Dusclops, then I would still at least be able to paralyze it. That was my reasoning. But, nope, we knocked out the Dusclops. And then we get to see Battle's last Pokemon, which is Metagross, level 70 with the ability Clear Body, so you can't lower its stats with moves like Charm or have Intimidate work on it, which is annoying. And it has the moves Earthquake, Shadow Ball, Meteor Mash, and Aerial Ace, all excellent physical moves. Metagross hits really hard with physical type attacks, and it has nice resistances due to that Steel type. Metagross is a powerful Pokemon. Like I said before, Battle's team is stacked with really good... They're all Generation 3 Pokemon. Huh, would you look at that? Yeah, his team is really, really good. But at this point, I have this battle pretty much locked in my favor. Could just use Flamethrower to deal damage to Metagross. Although, I didn't realize that this, having both Nina and Ellen out, not good because Earthquake exists, but whatever. Whatever. We have this battle essentially won because that Metagross isn't fast enough to just sweep through my team. So, yeah. And unfortunate crit there, but I don't think that crit really mattered, honestly. And then, back to Eugene and Libby. And, of course, I do need to heal. Even though I do have these 2 Pokemon left, just in case. Just in case, it's always nice to have a backup. And I was hoping to get a flinch with that bite, but that didn't happen. So, yeah. This battle is essentially over, and we're essentially done with this super boss fight. Very, very tough, but worth it. I felt accomplished when I beat this, and I still do, because look at this. My team had a severe level disadvantage against this guy, and we still won. So, haha. Screw you. I mean, I don't want to say that because that's kind of rude. Like, the battle was really fun, but also very stressful. Okay, Metagross barely has enough HP, but Nina's Flamethrower will be just enough to knock it out. Okay, well, that's it. We defeated Badless, and we've conquered Mount Battle. Whew. Just post-commentating this episode was a tough one, because this is a very long episode. Magnificent! Thank you. Magnificent. Yes, truly magnificent. You being so young may not understand how I can be so happy about losing. Well, I'm delighted, even ecstatic that someone so young as you could defeat me. Congratulations, here are your Pokecoupons for clearing Area 10. 2,000, nice. Oh my, you did it! You cleared Mount Battle entirely without changing your Pokemon once! Your talent is incredible. Without thoroughly knowing and trusting your Pokemon, this feat would have been simply impossible. For your record-setting Pokemon, let me give you these as mementos. We got ribbons for completing the 100 win streak, but more importantly, for completing Mount Battle without changing any of your Pokemon, you have the option of getting one of 3 Pokemon. Chikorita, Cyndaquil, or Totodile, the 3 Johto starters. They're all at level 5. They each have an egg move, but they also have an elemental hyper beam, namely Frenzy Plant, Blast Burn, or Hydro Cannon. Now, those aren't good moves. Those aren't good moves by any stretch of the imagination, but this was special at the time because at this point in the series, the only Pokemon that could learn the elemental hyper beams were the Kanto starters. So this was seen as like a little neat thing. As for the Pokemon themselves, Chikorita. By the way, since y'all come at level 5, they're not worth using at all, unless you want to go through Mount Battle again, because then you could just get the other starters that you missed. So if you clear a second time, you can get a second starter. Clear the third time, you can get the final starter. That's why I cleared Mount Battle 3 times at one time, and also in previous playthroughs of the game. But anyways, onto the Pokemon. Chikorita. It's probably the weakest out of the 3. It doesn't do too well offensively. It's more of a defensive Pokemon, and it's meant to play more of a supporting role by setting things up like Light Screen and Reflect. And I think it even gets like Aromatherapy leveling up, maybe. But it's a support Pokemon. Has Ancient Power for its Egg move. So, there's that, but not that good. Cyndaquil is probably the best of the three. It's decently fast, and it hits decently as well. And as crappy as Blast Burn is, it is still a powerful move for Cyndaquil. Its type coverage really isn't the best either. So, yeah. And then Totodile. Not that good. I would say it's the middle option here. It's supposed to be a physical attacker, but a lot of the moves it learns aren't physical until later on. So, yeah. And I choose Chikorita here because it's my favorite. But those are the 3 Johto starters. And again, you can get the other 2 if you complete Mount Battle again. A second and a third time, but... That's a thing. And I'm not going to return to defeat you. Not for a long time. Not for a long time. So, yep. We get our ribbon, which... It's just a ribbon. I think this is the only time in the series where you can get that ribbon, but still. And let's just take a look at the Chikorita that we got. Just because. Why not? Again, comes at level 5. This one is a gentle nature. Okay. And it has Ancient Power. Yeah, that's its egg move. And then the Elemental Hyper Beam. Nothing special, but I guess it's a trophy for clearing Mount Battle. Anyways, with that done, that's gonna be it. We did our training here at Mount Battle. Next time, we take on the Ori Coliseum. So thank y'all so much for watching. And see y'all next time for some more Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness. And I'm just... What am I doing? I don't know. I don't know what Past Me was doing here. Oh well. Thank y'all so much for watching. And again, see y'all next time for some more Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, where we'll take on the Ori Coliseum.